What's up, gang? Hey, this week we had some technical difficulties and we have an abrupt stop at the end of this episode. But I think there's some fun conversation up until that. So we hope you enjoy this episode and we'll see you soon with a not fucked up episode. Until then, deuces. It's all these people responding to a fucking I want to fucking sound smart comment with fucking I want to sound smart comments. Shut the fuck up. Like, have a real conversation, not one that just like, you know, fucking makes you feel like you're smart and shit. Hello, Ray Hernandez.
Hello, Stephen Ray.
All right. We're not going to do it. Yeah, go.
No. I just had I don't take naps.
I knew we were going to talk about fucking sleep again.
Well, because someone made a comment that I always I start off by fucking hate everything and everything's so shitty and I'm tired. And I was tired, but I randomly came home after picking up my kids from school. I laid down on the couch just for a second and it was just like, oh shit, I woke up and it was time to record. So I just took a 30-minute nap, which I've never done in years.
Nice.
And I feel high.
I know what you mean.
I feel loopy, you know?
Yeah.
So,
dude, I can't remember the last time I had a nap. Well, here, hang on. This wasn't the last time, but I remember having a nap when I was in my, almost 20 years ago. I worked at my first, career agency job. And I remember coming home from work, turning on fucking MTV, opening up the back patio door and falling asleep and just waking up and going, oh, damn, life is amazing.
That sounds amazing. But I also love
it does.
It sounded like this whole grandpa statement. We were I remember 20 years ago when I took a nap.
That's not the way I look at it. No. I'm living to 120, Ray.
Totally random story. Okay. So we went to a wedding on Saturday, right? Just a little wedding.
Okay.
And so I'm getting ready. I'm kind of feel like I haven't, I normally get a haircut and they do my beard and they do everything, but I hadn't had a haircut or anything. So I'm okay, let me just trim my beard up.
Oh shit.
And I was went to the other side. My wife's over here, in the shower. So I'm and she calls me and I go, and look at this.
Oh, wow.
Can you see that? I literally just shaved a whole chunk of my beard off, but I left the line underneath it. So there's just a hole in my head right now.
Well, I guess at least from the front, if you just keep your head and chin down.
I just gotta stay like
hey
this.
guys.
But I'm oh no, don't look. But yeah, so yeah. For those listening, I have a hole in my beard.
Yeah. Well, hey, I mean, you kept it. I don't know. That was an interesting move.
I mean,
what would have been hilarious is if you did a straight goatee.
No, it was one of those what is it, game time decisions. I literally it happened. Yeah. I was do I just shave the whole fucking thing off? No. Goatee? No. Fuck it. I'm just leaving it. I don't care. It was totally.
Dude, I mean,
totally one of those.
I'm not hating on goatees, but they're so outdated. They're so dated.
Yeah. No, I used to have.
You just can't be having a goatee right now. I
had
had one too. Then you and I both had the chin straps too.
Yeah.
I remember I think I came to the conclusion that was going out of style before my wife did. And she was like, why don't you go ahead and trim that up? And I was like, it's just not cool anymore. And she was like, I think it's cool. And I was like, do I do what you think is cool because you're my wife and I want you to think I'm hot? Or do I do what I think is cool, which is what I think just my general folks, not all of society, but the people that I care, largely, I don't even know that it's I care, but it's we share, we just generally share some opinions about style and things like that. And I was like, nope, growing the beard out. I fucking hate it.
When I got back from Hawaii the first time, because I remember distinctly having the straps in Hawaii. And I would even I'd shave my mustache, and so it was just the bottom,
Whoa, really?
So, Yeah, no, it was
I used
straight
to,
up like
I didn't
like a
ever
chin
pencil
strap.
it out, but I used to trim down the mustache too.
Well, I mean, I never like shaved it with a razor. I trimmed it down to like kind of like a
Got
0.
you.
So you still saw some stubble, but like had like a
Yeah.
legit little strap beard. But yeah, it was pretty much. So I mean, I had to be what 24. We're talking like 15 plus years ago. Like I was like, yeah, I can't do that anymore.
Yeah,
I think it
totally.
was like I saw it in
That's
a
the right
photo.
timeline.
No, it's that's how life is for me, right? I'm like, oh man, I look badass, and then you see yourself in a photo, and you're like, what the fuck was that?
Oh, dude.
You know that's what
That's the
happens.
problem with like being in, like trying to have some sort of like style and fashion, is that like it all kind of dates itself a little bit. Some of it dates well, a lot of it, which is cool in the moment. Cause we talked about this a long time ago. Like you're not trying to like conform and just look like everybody else. So you try to find your own shit and then you do it and it's a little unique, a little different. Sometimes that shit doesn't age well. It's like,
Speaking
what
of that,
the fuck was I thinking?
speaking of that, I always feel like I I like stand
Fix your
out.
mic. Uh-huh. I said
wrong
fix
with
your
it?
mic. You were talking away from it and it sounded like you're went
Oh,
over into another room.
sorry, man. Stop yelling at me.
Hey, I'm trying to make this top quality. Especially if I'm bitching to our friends about their quality.
Yeah, no,
No, ours
you were.
can't lag.
Yeah, you did do that really well.
I know. Actually, wait. Go ahead. We'll come back to that.
I don't even know what I was talking. Oh, I was talking about like how I stand out. No, so
Yeah.
today the reason I'm fucking tired and came home exhausted. One, we worked all day yesterday on the house, but today, my wife wanted to go to the World Trade Center here, and like it's like a 15 floor wholesale mall.
Is it really 15 floors? Like I know about it. I know I used to have a client in there, but I didn't think there was that many floors.
We started on 15 and worked our way all the way down, and we didn't buy a single fucking thing. We didn't buy one
you just
thing.
lived my nightmare.
Like it was like, when you go to IKEA and you spent like fucking 2 or 3 hours there and you leave and you didn't get shit and you bought this little tiny mirror or anything and you fucking hate life after you leave there. That's what today was for me. Like it was just like, oh my fucking God, 15 floors of fucking hell. But anyway, the point of the whole story was everyone kept like freaking out looking for my badge. Cause it's like I had like a hoodie on, I had like my hat on backwards and like, it's mostly
Fucking
like
gangster.
interior designers.
Oh, they thought you were a thug or something?
Yeah, they thought I was there either
Or
like a
homeless
worker,
or-
like I was there
Yeah.
putting together furniture, or like I was just like, why am I walking around? Like I got so many looks that were just like, hi. Like I was like, can I help you? I'm like, no, I'm good, just looking. Thank you. Have a
Like,
good one.
No. Can I help you?
Yeah, it was so weird. Like it's like you forget, especially now. Like we're always at home and shit now. Like I don't like interact with people as much as like I do anymore or did before. And like you just forget that there's like just dumb people in the world.
I haven't forgotten that at all.
Yeah, I found them all today. All of them.
Yeah, they were all consolidated at the World Trade Center.
Like, dude, I keep noticing it. Like I keep like looking over to our sheet and going, "Don't tilt your head too much because you're just gonna show off the hole in your head." I'm like, no.
Wait a minute. So you're telling me you have the microphone on the opposite side that you have either one of your screens?
I have two 49-inch screens next to each other, and there's like the news stuff that we were talking about earlier is over here, and then our weekly thing. I know, but I was looking like all the way at the end.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
why my mic went.
That's a
back. If I look
mistake.
all the way. That's where it fucks up.
I got you.
So, I just got too much monitor happening right now. That's what's going on.
I see.
But anyway.
Yeah, you do have that crazy 180, like
It's
what is
immersive.
it? 2 yards wide.
It's
immersive. It's like an Excel spreadsheet master's freaking wet dream.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
It's like, oh my God, 49 columns visible in one view.
That was good. You
All
and-
right,
you and
man.
Mark.
That was Mark's brother I was imitating.
Yeah.
He is
What
our
are we talking about today?
finance guy.
I feel like
Dude, I
feel
thought
like
it'd be...
I've bitched enough, so we could. Get
Oh
into
well, why
something.
don't I bitch then?
All right,
So
you bitch.
I'm I'm perusing the LinkedIn, the basically piece of shit site that is, and just every once in a while I kind of scroll through there and see what's going on. Actually, interesting thing is like, it'll tell you, it's like, 27 people have viewed your profile, and you're like, who the fuck are all these people? And like, it sometimes will tell you where they came from. And so I don't know, it's interesting from time to time to just look in there, and it's always interesting. Not always. Sometimes it's very interesting. You'll see like people that you don't even know who go to your profile like every week, and you're like, all right, like, should I be flattered or creeped out or legitimately concerned for my safety? But anyway, so I was on there, and then I do a little scrolling, and I saw this thing. I don't even know who this is. It's one of those where like enough people you're connected to are connected to this person, so it just shows you their shit, and you're like, okay, cool. And basically, and this person, their comment, it doesn't even really matter that much, but it was like a friendly piece of advice for design students, and it does like this like meme from some dude. I don't know his name, Mauricio Mieja. It doesn't matter. Maybe I'll put the link in. I don't know if I remember. But anyway, basically it's this meme, and it says, it's like, design student, I want to be a great designer. Design educator, great. We will learn about culture, economics, politics, justice, ... Student, can you just teach me some software tools instead? And it says educator, like, and then it just has nothing. Like, they're just speechless. So this was interesting. It got me kind of annoyed on like two levels. Oh, I know why. Somebody that we know had posted as a comment, and that's why it showed up in my feed. But first of all, that's just a fucking lame meme. Like, I get what it's implying. It's like, to be a great designer, you need to have opinions about things. You need to know about what's going on in the world, blah, 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 blah. And actually, I take that back. That's arguable. To be a great designer, you need to know about that. What this is saying is like, this kid just wants to learn how to use the tools. Well, fuck this idiot. Like, if you can't use the tool, like, give the kid a chance to learn how to express himself by learning how to use the tool. Like any fucking like carpenter or whatever, did they not put together some shit before they knew how to actually do it correctly? Like, they got in there and they used nails and hammers and shit. I've built a ton of shit. I've built shit wrong back when I, lived out in the country with my, and I'd go to my grandparents' house, and I just had free reign of this like workshop. And so I'd build all this shit, and my grandfather would come in and be like, all right, here's what you did wrong. I was usually like building like rails for like skateboarding on or whatever. And he would show me how to do it right. But I went through the exercise of using the tool. It's not like before I could even get started, I had to understand the philosophy of what a fucking hammer meant or some shit. Or not even that. Just like, what's the, it's just fucking stupid, okay? So I get what they're saying, though. I get what they're saying. I just think it's like, it's what I decided at a point that I never wanted to be. Like, I don't have like a great speaking career. I've spoke a few times, but there was this point in which everybody tried to sound just like fucking so intellectual. It's like, design philosophy. And I'm like, some of them are good. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some people who that's who they are. That's who they communicate. That's how they communicate. And there's like this major value you get out of it. But then like one of those people gives a talk and everybody sees it, and then everybody wants to be like fucking design philosopher or whatever. And you're like, dude, it's like your first job and you're not even that good. You just got an opportunity to speak. Like, just come on, like, be real. And I'm just, to be honest, I think I kind of started to go down that path before I realized it was not the genuine me. The genuine me is talking shit, making jokes. Like, any of my presentations usually have some just, light jokes or whatever. But I kind of got off the track. But anyway, so I just think it's kind of absurd. It's like, and it's also just something to bitch about. It's like, I'm going to bitch about something that kids just want to learn how to use design tools. Well, dude, fuck off. Like, you should just be stoked that kids want to learn to use design tools. Like, that's badass. And then here's the second level. And then I'll shut up and get your thoughts.
No, dude.
The second level of this is all these fucking dweebs that are like, well, a pencil and paper is all I ever needed to do design or whatever. And you're like, you think this fucking kid that this meme is talking about doesn't know how to fucking use a piece of pen or a fucking paper and a piece of pencil. It's just fucking stupid. It's all these people responding to a fucking I want to fucking sound smart comment with fucking I want to sound smart comments. Shut the fuck up. Like, have a real conversation, not one that just like, you know, fucking makes you feel like you're smart and shit. Because that's my opinion. Fucking, this is what I think is stupid about probably any industry. But design specifically, it's like, hey, let's just fucking know, like, we're all on different levels. And I'm not saying this person doesn't exist, that they just, like, are like that. I know some very, like, there's just, like, I think Daniel Hall's kind of one of these guys. He just, like, he's very laid back. He kind of, like, he's very opinionated, but he has, like, this sort of philosophy or whatever. Maybe he's not a good example. He's just, everybody has their own style. So I'm not saying that, like, it's not okay, but, like, this much of this is a fucking showboating fucking bullshit, in my opinion. I'm shutting up. Thoughts?
No. Well, so I have two thoughts. One is, I mean, it's kind of like exactly what we talked about. Was it episode 1 or 2?
When we were starting the fucking podcast.
Design snobs.
Oh.
And this is literally why I don't like read a lot of design news or design things, because every comment is someone just trying to sound smarter than the other person. Like,
yeah,
fucking
totally.
Intellectual fucking contest or something like that. But here's the most interesting thing. When I read that, because I clicked on the link and I read it, I read it the complete opposite way that
oh,
you
man,
did.
I love it. Okay.
I read it thinking that, like, it was some stupid fucking kid designer that's just like, I only need to learn tools. I don't need to learn fucking design and anything. Like, I can just tell me how to use the tools and I'm going to be great. And the person and the professor is like, no, I want to teach you about history of, like, design and culture and how colors work and how this works. And, like, those pieces together are what's going to make you a great designer. And so it's like I was reading it the totally other side of it. But I'm with you. Listening to you go off, I'm like, yeah, give the kid some fucking tools. I'm with you. Like, he's ready. He wants to play. So I don't disagree with anything that you said. It's just funny that when we saw the exact same thing, and I read it from one perspective and you read it from the other perspective.
Here's the thing. I don't know if I caught that. If I had that opinion, like, right away. It may have been once I started reading all the comments. So I don't think you had time. Well, I don't know if you read it in the comments first.
I read a few, and, like,
okay.
the first one that I saw, like, because I just kind of skimmed it, was like where my head was, like, where there was just like, there's a million tutorials and stuff online. I tell my kids this every day. You want to learn something? Go to YouTube. Yeah. There's a million tutorials. Let's at least play with it. See if you can, like, figure something out. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you don't need a class. We don't need a teacher. You don't need things yet. Just go play. Right?
That is your
like,
class and your teacher, basically.
Well, you get what I mean. Like, you don't have to spend
100%.
money to go do things. If you want to learn something, it's all right there. Like, we didn't have this. Like, you're fucking so lucky. Go fucking take it. Dude, I know. You know? So it's just one of those things. But anyway, I didn't get deep into the rabbit hole. I feel like that's what probably was really setting you off, was the douchery.
Well, that's the thing.
It probably think keeps going.
That's the thing. You read a comment and you're like, well, they're just fucking trying to sound smart. And there was this one person that basically just talked shit. It was like, you know, a young lady, and she was like, you know, let's just admit these professors are basically, like, just talking shit. Like, they're freaking old and don't even know how to use the tools anyway. So how are they gonna even teach these kids? And then this guy gets, like, bent out of shape. And then the more I read him, it was just like, I liked hers because it was the only one not going like, oh, yeah, fucking pencil in, you know, fucking back of the napkin. It's like, all right, whatever. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have gotten that triggered. But
I just love how triggered you are from it. Like, it makes me so happy seeing, like, angry Steve, because you never get to see it. It's always chill, cool, happy Steve. And so when you see the things that are going to, like, just fucking make you go off, like, I'm just like, yeah, fuck them. Fuck those guys.
I don't know.
I'm with Steve.
The things that trigger me are just the ones where I feel like people are patting themselves on the back about how cool they are. I'm just like, shut the fuck up, please. Like, not adding any value to a valuable conversation.
I just realized that I bought these lights. These, like, you see, like, these, and they're, like, shining directly in my face, and, like, I'm all green. Why didn't you say something?
No, you're not. No, you're not green
No,
at all, actually.
I'm not now. I just turned off the giant green lights that were
I
shining.
don't think so. Well, maybe so. I don't know. Well, you got a giant green background too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It was like I'm fucking Incredible Hulk, like fucking over here, you know.
Yeah. What is the
Green
sound
Giant.
it makes when he's turning into the Hulk? It's like wow, wow, wow.
Oh, from the original. Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
The horrible sound effects.
yeah. The great sound effects, you mean?
I mean, horribly. Never mind. Okay. So,
what else we got on here?
well, I thought it was funny. I mean, maybe this is a brief conversation, but you were like, I was about to leave the house. I was in my car and I was like, I mean, we kind of talked about it, but this is my thinking, my internal dialogue. I was like, I looked at my calendar and I guess Ray didn't send that invite. But let me call him real quick. And you're like, yeah, dude, I just set up my desk. I sent you an invite. And I was like, what the fuck? I just looked. And so I come back and I'm like, dude, it's not on my calendar. And you're like, yeah, I sent it to the very first email address you ever created. That's not what you said. You said what it was. I don't want to say it.
No. So
I don't know
but
if it matters, but-
okay. So here's the thing. This is what happened. Because you said it earlier, like, how is it that like this person that I spent all this time with not know my fucking email address? Well, so here's the
Yeah,
thing.
I was gonna
It's
get
like-
there.
No, so I clicked it,
Oh,
and like it's like I write Steve, right, and it's like shows me like 3 different email addresses, and I'm like, okay, well it's not that one, and it's like it used to be like whatever at your website.
You can say it. It doesn't matter.
Like and then I was like, this one was a Gmail one. I was like, oh, it's the Gmail one because he changed everything to Gmail. And so I clicked that one. Like I just assume like I'm going to have your email address. Like there's no way that I wouldn't have it in my phone.
Yeah.
Because I set up the calendar invite like the second that you told me to change it. And so I was like, yeah, no, of course. I know it.
Yeah.
Of course I know it. You know, so it was like I was all confident and shit, thinking,
Dude,
yeah,
I fucked
fucking
up
did
on
this
that
right.
one. So the reason I don't have my name, so I'm one of these weirdos. I can't have, it's like, you know me, like I can't have a domain that's not on point. I can't have an email address that's not on point or a handle. Like when I won't sign up for a service is when my name's not available. I'm like, guess I'm not using that one. I don't know why. I don't know why that's a thing. I think there's
But
some
you got
mental.
your ETH one.
I even got that. It cost me like fucking like $100. But if you want to send me some ETH, just go to stephenray.eth.
Dude, that's what we should fucking talk about. Like, it's not even on our list, but how both me and you have we were fucking in it.
Dude,
you're
changing topics
way more than me.
mid-conversation.
I know it. But email addresses are fucking boring. Like that, like totally. Like we were so into NFTs. Like you fucking were so deep. I was like, well, if he's going deep, I gotta go fucking deep. And then like, we just fucking just stopped. Like
We made a
like,
conscious decision to, though.
Dude,
we didn't lose
I
interest.
know.
I'm still.
So
I'm
that's
still
where I was
interested.
gonna go. That's where I
Okay.
was gonna go.
Hey,
The
okay.
videos still pop up on YouTube and everything, and I'm like, I almost like feel now like I kind of miss it. Like I'm like, oh, like I remember when I used to like spend my nights staying up all night. Looking
Yeah,
at these things and
exactly.
watching, you know, like I was like, I kind of miss those days.
Dude, I
Like,
spent
seeing,
one
like-
whole week of my life in Discord just
Oh,
trying
see,
to get
that's the
whitelist and
part-
shit. I went more
That's the
extreme than
part
you.
that I just was like, fuck that. I went deep into the research part of it. Like I was like,
yeah, I mean, I did that part
hardcore
too.
reading.
But then I
But
was trying to get into these things, and
Yeah.
you can't get in unless you fucking get into the community and the Discord and all this shit.
Yeah, that's
Like,
the part that's stupid.
Then you
I
got
don't like it.
scammed.
Yeah, then I lost a bunch of fucking money buying shit that I was super excited about from these badass designers that ended up being like totally fake. So, and then like I told him, he's like, "Yeah, dude, you totally got ripped off. Sorry."
He's like, "Yeah, that sucks for you."
Sucks to be you, you know. But
Which
I don't know.
I don't know. I think
crazy.
if I were that guy, I would have been like, I guess it depends on how many people he had coming to him, like trying to do that. Because a lot of people were buying those fake ones.
But I feel like nobody. Like I feel like I'd be a good detective. Like I found like individual people through Twitter, and I was like, there he's gonna get blown up through Twitter. Then I like did some research, and he had a website but no email address. And then like he had like
you're not as clever as you
an
thought.
old dribble that only had a few things on it. And I was like, I'm just gonna send him a message through dribble because that's gonna go to whatever email address he's actually using, you know. And
and then you got a hold of him
wrote me
through
back.
that?
Yeah, and he wrote me
That's
back
right.
like 10 minutes later.
Yeah, and so what I was gonna say is like if I was that guy, I would have gotten you. I would have whitelisted you. I would have been like, this dude's trying to support me.
I
Got
ended up.
scammed.
You told me to, and then I asked him.
I know you did.
If that
He
was
said
the name.
that's what he said. Sucks to suck.
He ghosted me. He was like, "Oh, fuck you." So,
Yeah. So anyway,
sorry.
the story's boring too. We both got way into it. We did get started on something, and we decided we were gonna invest our time in other areas for the time being.
It's funny though, because I still get asked every day what I think is going to happen with the NFT space.
As do I.
And so it's still something that I'm super all about, but it's almost like I'm trying to do like normal Ray, where I'm like thinking of like future ideas with it that are going to be like too far ahead of time, and they'll be like fucking 10 years from now, they'll be the thing that's just totally normal. Like that's where I'm trying to like put my brain, you know, because I still think there's some cool.
Oh
shit
well, no,
we
wait,
can
hang
do
on.
with it.
The problem with that is we've done 10-year shit too early shit before. Then you have to maintain it until it comes into like usefulness or popularity.
No. This is where things are different. The NFT thing, even just crypto Web3 example, I feel like is moving so much faster than everything else. So when Web 2, Web 1, something that you were 10 years ahead, you had to literally wait the 10 years. This time is going to be like a couple of years, and you'll have a couple of years like head start from everybody else that's going to start jumping into it. That's my theory anyway. So if you can think ahead of what's going to go, and there's probably people that have been doing this forever, you know, they're like, yeah, no shit. That's why we've been doing this for the last 2 years.
You think that's 10 years ahead, bro? That's fucking 1.5 months. I don't know. That was good. I don't know. Never mind.
I like it.
Bro, you think you're fucking cool?
Dude, so it's totally random. When I was a kid, it was like my dream job to just think like I just wanted to be a voice like on a cartoon or on like a movie or whatever, because I was like, that's got to be the greatest job. You don't have to like actually like
I kind of agree.
Acting. You don't have to do any of the acting. You don't have to dress up. You don't have to do shit. You just show up. You talk into a mic. You make up a funny voice or whatever, and you are that character forever. You know, and you're just like this hidden like star. Like everyone knows the character. Nobody knows you.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, dude, you're right. Oh, beautiful. That's amazing.
You know,
that's amazing.
I was just like, God, that just sounds so. So I'm hearing you like doing your voices. I'm like, man, like that'll just be. Dream.
I got a reputation for this back at the old joint, because I would just talk about all the other all the people in leadership. I guess I didn't really think about it in advance. I just would make the voices. I guess it's like I'm talking about someone, and there's this guy. I guess I won't say his last name. This guy Greg, and he was on the senior leadership, and he was from Georgia, and I just remember this time, back when we were way into like craft beer, and there's all this great beer in the fridge, and it's like one of those days where like, hey boys, we're like shutting it down early, let's have some beers and hang out. And he goes and grabs a Bud Light, and I was like, Greg, you don't want to try any of these really nice beers? And he just looked at me. He's like, Steve, I'm just a simple man. And it just like made me shit my pants. And so then I would just like talk about Greg, and I'd be like, well, I was going to do that, but then I just decided not to. And I don't know, it would make people laugh. So no, I'm into it. Let's can you do any voices, bro? Let's get gigs. Let's get gigs doing voices.
That's the thing is like when I was younger, like I would try to make up voices, and like I could do like a good Elmo and like all that kind of like crazy high pitched shit. But now I'm like, I can't do anything. You just got one voice.
You sell it, bro. Sell it.
Is it? When you guys need a character that sounds exactly like this, where I have to do nothing or change anything, let me know. You know, I'm down. Let's figure that out. I got you. In the mornings when I wake up, I can go a little deeper, but that's about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'd like to take advantage of that voice when it's a little deeper.
Okay. Yeah, girl. What's up?
Not even that. I just feel like badass. I'm like, yeah, what are we working on today? Yeah, cool. Let's get fucking going. Let's do this shit.
Get my pump on.
You actually can kind of do a deep voice. I can't do Well, hey, dude. So last Monday, I met with somebody that's actually that listens to our podcast, a young designer. To my surprise, this young lady was also like a badass like nurse, like, and she was crushing it in the nursing game, and but she was like not necessarily like, you could just tell super ambitious. I was just sitting there chatting because her husband, I sort of know through some other mutual connections, and when we started the podcast, he sent me a message. He was like, dude, I think all we had done at that time was the stupid like little TikTok video that's like, we're gonna do a podcast. And he was like, dude, fuck, that's gonna be badass. And I was like, geez, thanks, bro. Like, you know, and so we would chit chat because he does like this overlanding stuff, like, you know, like where you like build out he has like a Jeep and all this that he's built out that he can like go drive off somewhere and sleep overnight and cook and all that. And then, you know, which I'm like, that's one of my wannabe things that I'm into. So we would chit chat, and I posted this Instagram, and it was like, now I want to learn to make cakes, because it had like some badass cake maker just doing some shit real quick, and it was just badass. Ooh, and
I just got a Charlie horse. Sorry, keep going.
Lord. Well, anyway, he was like, oh, my wife's, you know, she can make these like cakes and shit, and she would teach you how. And I was like, I don't know if he was like, she'll trade you for like design wisdom or something. And I was like, oh, dude, that's what we're all about, man. Let's hook it up. So anyway, I met with her, and it was a pretty interesting conversation. So mostly, like, I don't know if this is a great story, but anyway, the point was, like, somebody that knows of us through the podcast that I started, I don't know if I've started mentoring her necessarily, but like, I met with her. She was super, super motivated. You could just tell, like, okay, I don't know what I can tell you to help you crush it, but you're going to crush it. And let me just see if I can sprinkle some shit in there to like help you along your way. But she wrote back later, and she was like, I've got all sorts of ideas for the podcast. And I was like, bring it on. Please. And what I also thought was interesting is that, you know, I mentioned to her, I was like, yeah, we started this, you know, design podcast, you know, partly because we wanted to do something that like just wasn't totally boring. And she was like, no, that's like a huge value of it. Like, she was like, it is cool listening to the two. Actually, you said this. She was like, it's cool listening to you. You don't have to always be talking about design, but knowing that you guys think like designers, you know, you have design history, design background. It's like most of the topics are still like interesting. And she was like, it's just, yeah, it is more interesting than, you know, some of these that are just very sort of specific about like, well, today we're going to talk about the methodology or whatever. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I think that's good if that's what you want. There's just a lot of those, and whatever. Good meeting with this young gal.
That's awesome.
And
so I know you said she's in nursing, but she's trying to become a designer.
She's already like moved out of the nursing field and has like an open invite back to her, like, you know, wherever she worked before, because she was like a total badass. And you could tell when you met her, you're like, she's not full of shit. Like, she's an overachiever, like in the good way. But yeah, so she's working for another basically like funded startup. I don't want to like give away the deets, but it's like a local funded startup of somebody who like, you know, had a successful local startup before.
That's awesome.
Yeah, very ambiguous there, but anyways, I thought that was cool. I was super stoked. Like, it's been a minute since I've sat down with someone that's like young and hungry and like has these like, you know, doesn't know necessarily where they want to go or what to do, and you're like, all right, I don't know, but let's see if we can start dropping some shit in and figure some stuff out.
See, and that's one of those things that it's been really interesting for me, because it's like kind of have, you know, doing that a little bit myself, but the difference is like, you've been doing this for a long time. I've been on my own for a long time, right? Like, I just did everything myself. I ran my own agencies, did all my own work, did design work, did sales, did everything, you know. So it's like, I didn't have somebody, except for when I was extremely young, to like show me what to do. The rest of it, I just figured it out on my own. And so it was like, it's been actually really difficult for me to like feel like I'm giving somebody value. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if I am all the time, you know, because it's
Yeah.
like I want to help people grow. I want to help them do all the things they want to do. And it's like sometimes it's like, I don't know, maybe it's just like I don't know that the same things that worked for me are going to work for somebody else. You know,
Totally, I get
and
that.
so it's been interesting, but I dig it. I love it.
You know what my thoughts on that are similar to like giving talks. Like you feel like you have to be coming with something that's going to impress yourself. It's like what's so bad at what's so badass it just has to be valuable. But the thing you have to keep in mind, I've gone through the same sort of thinking where I'm like, I don't know if this shit matters. But a lot of these, you know, young folks haven't had any experience at all. And so you just start talking about shit, and it's usually like interesting because it's an experience that you had and you've gone through, like you're seasoned. And that's what that means. Like you've had an opportunity to go through all these different scenarios. And like what makes it, I even think, more interesting, we'll see how it pans out. But like back when we were like, you know, growing and learning, I didn't have a mentor either. And I've like you, I've like wished I had like just figured everything out. It was like the school of hard knocks or whatever. Like, you know, you just get beat up all the time. And it was just normal. Like you had to get your knocks, you had to get your licks or whatever. And I think that's what like kind of made us who we are. And I think there was a lot of learning that came out of those situations. But anyway, so anytime you're talking to someone, just you being who you are, with your experience, like it's adding value. And I just started rambling a little bit because your video just went out.
Yeah.
This is going to be the worst episode so far.
No, I fucking think it's the best episode.